Well, welcome back to Living Local. According to the latest federal data, there are currently more than 400,000 children in foster care in our country. Kids enter foster care because they've been abused, neglected, or abandoned by their parents or guardians. One local resource works to keep children safe from further trauma by recruiting and retaining stable and nurturing families to foster or adopt. And here to tell us all about that is Christa Hefel, Recruitment and Engagement Leader with Four Oaks Family Connections. Thanks for being here with us today.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. Can you first start off by telling us about the history and mission of Four Oaks Family Connections?
Absolutely. So Four Oaks Family Connections started a couple of years ago. We're a branch of Four Oaks, and we manage the contract through the Department of Human Services in Iowa to recruit and retrain and find all our foster families and keep them safe and stable.
I'm sure you've learned a lot in the past couple of years. What have those past couple of years been like?
They have been very educational, for sure. We have a lot of wonderful foster families out there, and our training needs continue to expand as the issues with the children coming into care expand. So
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of, what is the need like for foster families in Iowa? I think it's something people don't really get the chance to think about very often.
Absolutely. There's a large need for foster families in Iowa. Honestly, if we could double the number of foster families we have, that would be ideal.
Gotcha. What disparities are you seeing when it comes to fostering trends?
So in the eastern part of the state, we have a significant lower number in the number of non-white families that we have. So in the eastern side of the state, we have only 9% of families that are non-white, and we have 40% of children coming in that are non-white, which is a problem because ideally we would like to have children raised in an environment similar to the environment that they were removed as far as cultural, ethnicity, and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some myths that keep people from fostering that you see come up from time to time?
A lot of people, I'm still shocked to see how many people say, oh, I'm single, I can't be a foster parent. You can absolutely be a foster parent. Anybody can be a foster parent that has room in their home and space in their heart to love and care for children.
Yeah, absolutely. When people are coming up, prospective families, what are those common questions that you usually get?
A lot of times we get questions about how it works, if they can be a foster family, if they're a cohabitating couple and they're not married, can they be a foster family? If they're a multiracial family, can they be a foster family? Absolutely, they can be a foster family. Anybody who's single, cohabitating, married, any race, sex, anybody can be a foster family. You have to have space in your home and you have to have room in your heart to love. So we have lots of children that need foster homes, that families that will stick by them, families that will appreciate them for all of the child they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the foster family specifically, what are some of the rewarding things, the feedback you get from those families as they foster?
So as foster families, I tell you what, I've been a foster family for 10 years, and it is the most rewarding experience I've ever had, and many families will tell you the same, that when a child comes into your home that has suffered abuse and neglect, and the changes that you can see in that child, and the growth and development, and really is all they need is just love and support and consistency. They need to know that someone's going to pick them up from school every day. They need to know that when their diaper is dirty that somebody's going to change it. They need to know when they're hungry they're going to get fed. And these are pretty basic nominal things that we all can do to support another life. And so as a foster parent, you see growth very quickly in children that come into care because they just need that stability. And so a lot of foster families really just appreciate the humbleness that it provides their family in understanding more in what goes around in the world around them.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very touching and what keeps you coming back to fostering for 10 years. That's really, really great. So from start to finish, what does that foster process look like for someone who's not familiar with it?
Great question. So the first thing you do is you go on our website and you just fill out an online inquiry. It is at www.iowafosterandadoption.org. There's an online inquiry, and then you fill out your information. We email you a packet of information to complete, which includes background checks. In the meantime, you can complete our orientation, which is through video conference. You can interact with the person who's training you, and then you start a 10-week long training process, which is 30 hours required by the state of Iowa. 3 hours, typically one time a week. A lot of people are like, that's a lot of training. Well, it's a lot of training, but you're taking care of someone else's child. So we'd like you to have a lot of training.
Yeah.
And the training is not about how to be a foster parent or how to parent a child. The training is about how to work the system as a whole and how to understand the process that children go through when they come into care, and the reunification process and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what kind of support systems beside the training do you have in place to support foster families? Because it can be kind of scary having a child that you're not familiar with in your home from the beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, in the process, we also have a caseworker that works with you and writes your home study, and that caseworker stays with you to support you throughout the time that you're fostering children. And so you have a consistent person in your life that is a support worker to you. We also have support groups for families, that families get together, families get their training, and provide supports and resources to each other. And then there's also national organizations that support foster families. We have state organizations that support foster families.
That's awesome. And the most important part, the benefit the children get from fostering, what does that look like?
Yes, that's huge. That's huge. And when a foster family takes a child in and they can recognize and understand the connection to their birth family and work with that birth family in the reunification process, and the child gets to witness that throughout of, wow, I have a whole team supporting me to get back to my parents. That is phenomenal, and it's a life-changing experience.
Yeah, very redeeming, I'm sure. That's really, really great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today to tell us all about it. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
All right, for more information, you can go to iowafosterandadoption.org. Like she said, we'll also take these details and post them on our website, ourquadcities.com. We're back with more Living Local right after this.